All right, guys, here I am back to do your Scorpio. It's an annual reading, basically, annual outlook for Scorpios. Um, this message is good for both the sun sign Scorpio as well as moon sign Scorpios. I'm going to give you 12 cards that are from the Soul Coaching deck. And then, and that'll be for both signs. So that's going to happen. It gives you like a look into each of the upcoming months, what energy you can be expecting from them. And then also I'll do 3 separate cards for each sign, sun sign Scorpio and moon sign Scorpio. On archetypes, the different archetypes that you might be looking to embody in the next 12 months. And we'll talk a little bit about what archetypes are. But if you've been following me on Facebook, certainly you've probably heard me talk a little bit about archetypes. You're going to be hearing a lot more about that in the next year. Maybe even put together an archetype class kind of to help you get started in your understanding of your own personal archetype team. So let's go ahead without any further ado and just start getting some cards out. Here's a couple cards that wanted to come out right away. Which one first here? Very easy. So here, sorry, I'm like making sure I'm putting them on the right, in the right spread for the card reading that we're doing. My mind goes a bunch of different places. So just bear with me while I get some cards out for you. There's another card. Another type of shuffle here. Oh, there we go. All right. Well, the deck doesn't want to move anywhere. I know the next one needs to come out. Okay. Last one. There we go. Okay, here we go. Okay. All right. My sage is still going. How wonderful. We've got a little bit of extra saging going on here. So we're just going to start at the very next month. So October is almost over. So we'll cover that in the energy of what's coming in next year. So what can we be looking forward to for November, for just next month? What energy here? Compassion. It says the vibration of compassion shines through my every cell. So I find it really interesting. The compassion needs to vibrate first within us for ourselves. That's really being pointed out to me right now. And that's going to be really important for you, Scorpio, is to show a lot of compassion for yourself. And it's going to sort of set off the energy, the tone of the whole next year from you know, your sign month to your sign again, is holding a lot of space for yourself in that compassionate zone, non-judgmental, just releasing all of those previous lines, stories, whatever things you used to tell yourself. So yeah, embrace that compassion. Then you can really show compassion to other people. And I know, funnily enough, sometimes we have more compassion for other people than we do for ourselves. So if you find yourself in that situation where you're being very compassionate to others, and then on the flip side, maybe very shortly after that, find yourself in a situation where you're not being compassionate to yourself, you need to recognize to shine the compassion inward, so it can vibrate through all of your cells, and then you can really hold that space for someone else. All right, so let's look at December. December holds also the winter solstice, which is a great time of year to look about the next year. New Year's resolutions, I originally, traditionally were done more on the solstice, the shortest night of the year. And I guess the reason why, no, it's the longest night, shortest day of the year, because they spend so much time indoors. You got the candles lit and you're writing down your intentions because there's nothing to do. There's no more daylight. So I guess this was the legend or the wild woman myth behind one of the traditions for solstice. So this is calling in faith for December. Faith, and it says, my life is divinely guided. And I almost I look at this, it's like it's a leap of faith. So take that as the ability to kind of say yes without knowing necessarily the whole plan, without having all of the details, but be able to really embody that feeling of yes energy, of just saying, yes, I will go with it. Yes, I will do this. Of course, you want, make sure when you're saying yes to these things and taking a leap of faith, that you're doing so in what resonates with your heart's desires, because then you're co-creating from a place of love, and a space of having the universe meet you halfway with something that you want, or even better. Isn't that how we always try to manifest things for ourselves? So have the faith that will work out. It is kind of like the card does. The little picture says, this be knowing that you might have to jump into a little bit of the unknown maybe in December, and have some confidence there with that card ahead of time. So what does January bring? What does 2019 bring? Light, which I love. In the month that has traditionally the shortest days there of January, right after solstice, we could always use a little bit more light. And it says, my light radiates through my life and the world around me. So again, with that compassion card, your light, you need to have it shine for yourself in order for you to shine outward for other people, Scorpio. And you do have a beautiful light to shine out there for the world. So you've got to make sure that you've got your own, your own body, your own light body cleared and cleansed. So that's another thing, is this card is calling out to do a lot of that internal housekeeping in January. I'm getting that message for you, Scorpio. So lighten things up, clean things up, do some chakra clearing work, especially after gathering for the holidays and being around a bunch of other people. Maybe it took that leap of faith just to get you through the holidays. That could be another meaning of the faith card, but it's all going to lighten up in January. So let's look at what February brings for you. Peace. So, don't we all have love, light, peace? We all want these things in our life, and your first part of next year is carrying on in a very, very kind of tranquil sort of experience. It says, I breathe deeply knowing that all is well in my universe. So take this peace into your inner being and be able to really embody a quieter sort of pace for February. This means slowing down with maybe, I know the holidays can be really overwhelming with social engagements, and then in January it seems like we all have to get back to work and it's very busy. So February, it sounds like, needs to be a time where you take some time to visit that peaceful side of yourself. Bring some peace out, because honestly, we have so much chaos and chaotic things going on in our world that we don't need any more additional, we don't have to add to that. And you don't want to add to that in your aura, in the space that you embody. So bring peace to your light and know that the universe is bringing you a peaceful experience. So you're working towards that. When you focus on that and you put that intention in your day, it will be met with that or something better. So let's see, March, the next month here, is our radiance. the radiance card comes out, and this says, I'm a radiant reflection of God's light. And if you don't like the G word, you can say, I'm a radiant reflection of the universe's light. I am a radiant reflection of healing light. Whatever kind of light you want to put on that, you are the radiant reflection of this light. And mostly it's because we are a reflection of what we are wanting to experience. And so if you've spent the past couple of months really clearing out your light body, clearing out your chakras, working with actual, bringing your light up to the surface and then putting a peaceful sort of effect around it, then of course you're going to be able to have this pure radiance out there to offer to the world. Maybe your world is your household. That's totally fine. I know that my kids, I could often use a little bit more peace and some tranquility in situations. So if my radiance can bring that to a situation, for example, that's always wanted. In Scorpio, this is something that says for you, especially with the changing of the season there in March, we have spring, the spring equinox. So we have this beautiful ability to like bring light to even the surroundings around you. Know that the seasons are changing. We're having this radiance built into it. Let's look at what April has. Big boost of energy. So this card says, healing energy and immense vitality flow through me easily and effortlessly. So this means you're not only going to be coming out of this hibernation period, so not only is this going to be actual physical energy that you're going to get a higher embodiment of, but you're also going to get a big tune-up of spiritual energy. And I like that. I like knowing when that's coming for me, because sometimes it can feel like really intense. So, and we want to blame it on things like retrogrades or the planets moving around, and sometimes it's just our time to experience certain things. So for us, Scorpio, be prepared for a big surge in energy in April of next year, which is beautiful. And it gives you a big boost in your healing ability. If you're healers out there, maybe you'll be having more clients booking during this month, so you'll be really, really off the hook with healing work that you need to do. And that's just because you've been doing a lot of work on yourself in the months previous. So look at that card. I love that symbol for energy on there. Very fiery. All right, let's look at May. May is inspiration. So once we get this big boost of energy from the radiance we start embodying, we know that we can be an inspiration for other people. And people come to you wouldn't even expect to come to you and say that you've been an inspiration for them, and receive that. Don't shrug it off. I know a lot of times, especially in the beginning, for me, I would lessen. I would say, oh no, that's, maybe I'm inspiring, but no, they're just the cards that are inspiring. But you want to really own that. So you're going to be an inspiration. It says, I am receiving divine inspiration right now. And you're going to have, if it's people that are close to you coming to you, but also I hear calling into your work relationships. There's going to be a lot brewing on the professional side. So know that you could be an inspiration for big changes within your organization, or if you have your own company or a business, there's going to be a huge source of inspiration from the divine on direction that you want to be taking for the second part of the year. So this was our May card. So we have June right here. So let's look at June. June is embracing. And so I see this, it looks like almost like that DNA, the double helix. I love DNA work and getting things down to a cellular level. It says, I embrace and love all of life. I embrace and love all of my life. And on this card, right when I turned it over, I felt that you were actually going to be embracing a partnership in some way. So for those of you out there who are looking for a love relationship, there's going to be something happening around June, summer solstice. We're going to be spending a lot of time outside, having a lot of fun, feeding our inner children, and know that there's going to be something happening. So if you're looking for love, if you're experiencing a relationship that might be having a deepening on some sort of level, it might not have to be a love relationship. Maybe something takes a turn in your professional life and you find yourself with basically somebody that's, what am I saying? Like a business partner, but I wanted it to sound more like a strategic alliance, like a partnership that, you know, has been in the making from past lifetimes. There's going to be something, and you'll recognize it as at a cellular level, like just this deep knowing. So I'd be expecting that around June. It'll be interesting if any of you remember this reading and actually have that ring a bell. You have to let me know. You can find me on Facebook. I'm Holly Holfelds. I also have a Facebook page called The Akashic Queen. So go ahead and like that as well. Let's see, what month after June? We have July. So July, huge sense of freedom. Freedom coming from being able to actually embrace a partnership in the way that you're going to in June. It says, boundless freedom surges through me. You know, I'm taking an Ascended Masters course right now, and it talks about one of the Ascended Masters we're working with at this moment is Saint Germain, and his big teaching is freedom and understanding that we can have ultimate freedom over our lives, over what we do. We don't have to feel like a victim. And so you're going to have there's been a lot of healing work. The overtone of compassion that you've held for yourself, hopefully through all of your experiences thus far in the year, Scorpio, is really going to lead you to understanding that freedom of not having to criticize yourself and to have to work out from underneath your own judgments based on what is going on in the world around you. So you're going to experience a lot of freedom in July. I love that freedom card. Wild horses running. So let's see, August. August is a very abundant month for you. And so this is the fruits of your labors are paying off. So not only if we have a garden, do you have a lot of abundance in August generally, but I also felt right away that it's financial abundance that you're going to be experiencing. So there's good. We had a really great love life card here with the embrace in June, and just a short time after that, there's going to be a big boost in your financial abundance. And I think a lot of it's been in the works. A lot of things that have been going on that you've been working on previously with some of these other cards and other energies are finally paying off. Beautiful fruit. It says, all my needs are met above and beyond my greatest expectations. Abundance. And here we are in September. September will bring you a lot of joy. So we've almost come full circle here, and this abundance, of course, after any abundant month, it always leads to a feeling of joy, a feeling of happiness. It says, joy and ecstasy flow through me wildly and freely. And let's finalize this part of the reading with our last card for October of next year is Purification. So this is a great card to receive when you know that you can just kind of clean things out. Do an October cleaning, a fall cleaning, purify all the things, whether it's in your physical space or your energetic space that no longer serve you, that are no longer good for you right now. The card says here, my energy field is being cleansed of all that I do not need. So it's always good to give it a kind of a push, especially right before the holidays next year. And also right before you hit Scorpio again, before your sign takes over. Give yourself a good cleaning in that first part of October. So, all right. I wanted to pull a couple of other cards. I hear my little guy, so I'm going to go see if I can give him a binky. Just hold tight really quick here. All right, we'll see if he stays quiet there. So let's do Scorpio sun sign. Let's do 3 cards, 3 archetypes that you're going to be embodying more fully in this next year. I'm just kind of organizing these cards into a little pile here. So let's do the sun sign first. Look at that. I'm going to take that card as a sign. Any card that sticks out, because I don't know how long we have until my little baby turns into a pumpkin. And now archetypes have a light attribute as well as a shadow attribute. So recognizing both sides of an archetype or of a particular archetype is going to be helpful, so you can recognize when you're dealing with a shadow side, when you can pull yourself out of being controlled by an archetypal pattern within a situation. You're not controlled by the archetype. These aren't people that come over and take over your personality, but it's the archetypal pattern. And when you get put in situations, a lot of times we react in certain ways. It's it's pattern, it's habitual, it's a DNA level. So let's look at the first one. This is again for Scorpio Sun. So the Knight. The Knight. Sounds very noble, right? Let's look at the light attributes. Loyalty, romance. Knights are very romantic. There's the knight in shining armor that's going to come rescue you. Romance and chivalry. Okay, so this is a love honor. So knights are great lovers. They also kind of, you know, they are loyal. They're very loyal. It has that loyalty card on here, and they have a more, like a less needy sort of energy than the rescuer, but they are here. They're going to come in and they're going to embody you. They're going to rescue you if you need rescuing in love. They're going to help take care of you. They're going to hold the door open for you. They're going to be by your side. So shadow attributes: allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, and then also romantic delusions. Okay. So this is going to be a good one to find yourself, if you're ever in situations where you're kind of like living in the clouds and people are like, get real, girl, this guy, he's never going to call you back, or he's never going to treat you differently, or he's never going to leave his wife, or whatever it might be. You know, you've heard these things from movies before, right? Know that you might be kind of falling under that shadow archetype of the knight, a hopeless romantic, okay? But also knowing that you can pull out that knight archetype if you need to get in, or if you're in a situation which requires extra loyalty, okay, which maybe requires you to stand by your honor in a situation and do so from a place of love. So you really can use the archetypes for a positive. Here's one, the bully archetype. Bullies. What can be beneficial about a bully? Let's find out. Highlights your tendency to intimidate others. Highlights your tendency. This is a light attribute. So when you basically, the bully archetype will come in situations where you might be intimidating other people, and you will realize this and you'll say, okay, I'm using my power to intimidate and I need to pull back on that, because the situation is never going to end well if you do that. It helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. And the shadow attributes: conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. Okay, so a lot of times, and they say this, bullies are really the ones that are the most afraid. They're the most afraid of things. And so when you're in a situation where you're being a bully to somebody else, it's because you need to find out what you're afraid of in a situation. Why is bringing you fear? So a bully is really able to cut through that illusion of fear and get to the source of a place that needs healing. So that's why a bully can be beneficial. Let's look at one more card before I have to run and fix my baby again. This is the Martyr. I think more people are familiar with the martyr archetype because you've heard people say, oh, she martyrs herself, or he's acting a martyr. Light attributes: learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. Learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. And the shadow attribute: addiction to self-pity. Just comes right out there and slaps you in the face with it, because a lot of times when you are pulling on the strings of the martyr archetype, when they're pulling the strings to a situation, it's where you really do want somebody to pity you. You want somebody to, oh, poor you, but there's no need to pity, because we are drawing everything into our situation. Okay, there's the baby. Let's go get him one last time. I know. I'm going to do a couple more cards. Yeah. Hi. Let's put you down really quick. And let me do 3 more cards. Let me get you this binky. All right, guys, whoever's still here, these are the patient Scorpio moon sign folks. Hey, I'm a mom, just had a baby, and I still want to do cards for y'all, so I appreciate your patience. Okay, let's get these cards. Let's mix those ones really good. Let's put them back in the deck because, hey, maybe the moon sign still needs some of these. It's going to have some of this stuff. Hey, did you lose your binky again? All right, let's do that card there. And then this card falls out. All right, easy, easy, easy. Okay. Hi. Hi. Hi, you. Oh, tutors. Well, I don't know if y'all are hearing that, but my little boy's sounds like he had some beans for lunch. Which is completely, I don't know how true that might be, since he just drinks milk. So the first archetype that you're going to, we have the bully, number 2, second time. So this is for all Scorpios. You're going to be wanting to watch out for the bully. So go back and rewatch what I said there about the bully a few minutes ago. It's really you're going to have a lot of transformation in this year, uncovering your fears and moving past the things in your life that you're fearing. Anytime you're critical about other people, anytime you're trying to intimidate a situation, what am I afraid of? This is the question you want to ask yourself, all Scorpios. Let's look at the next card. The shapeshifter. This is such an interesting archetype, okay? Changing sort of your personality or your personal dynamic dependent on the situation you're in. This is a shapeshifter. Skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness. This is a light attribute. Okay, so where it might be like, ooh, that's a shady person being able to change their personality dependent on situation. Well, it's also very skilled at working through different levels of consciousness. And let's break that down. Different levels of consciousness. That means you're able to integrate the different, whether it's the things you're learning from a subconscious level, the things you're learning from a dream state, from your awake state, from being at home versus being at work. You're able to navigate into different arenas very easily, where you may have to show a little bit different type of maybe personality or different sort of personality strengths at different times. Ability to see the potential in everything. Shadow attribute. Projecting any image that serves your personal agenda in the moment. All right, so anytime in the next year, Scorpio moon sign, that you see yourself highlighting your agenda over the collective understanding of maybe what's beneficial for the group, unless you're working on a solo endeavor, of course. But even then, if you do something that's detrimental to other people because it's beneficial to you, this is where you're going to have the shapeshifter the shadow attribute coming out for you. And then also just navigate when you're looking at the areas of the light attributes. Give yourself maybe a pat on the back for being able to move between different dynamics within your life without anxiety or stress. Being able to say, okay, I have to act a certain way in this situation. I need to be very present. I need to be very outgoing. I can't be the normal sort of easygoing, do what other people want. I need to put my foot down. So you can really call in the essence of that archetype and sort of shift your shape for a certain situation. So just know that you have strength within that one as well. And then the child, the nature child, in fact. Now we all have 4 archetypes that are like the 4 legs of a table. These are our survival archetypes. These are all of us have the same, and the child is one of them. And then there's different dynamics of the child. And this is the nature child. So they're light attributes: friendship with animals, communication with nature spirits. So this is saying your inner child is wanting you to get out in nature. Pretty clear right there. Shadow attributes: tendency to abuse animals, people, and the environment. Okay, so it's very interesting that you can see whether you're treating a person badly, maybe being an abuser in a relationship, and it doesn't have to be really dramatic, guys. It can just be, you know, being a little bit more passive aggressive than you should in conversations with them. I know that's me, for example, with my own spouse. And so that's really abusing the nature of this really close, soft relationship, because don't you only do these mean, like, passive aggressive little things to the people that you love the most, for example? So and that could be the bully as well. What are you afraid of in a situation, or what haven't you, you know, been able to talk about in a situation? And so spending time in nature, that was something your inner child wants, Scorpio moon. So please get out and enjoy nature, especially doing things that maybe you would have done as a child. Really feed that inner child. All right, well, without further ado, before the baby goes boo-hoo, I'm going to sign off. So I have really enjoyed doing this reading for you. It's a little quick. Like, if you're to order one of these personal reading, it's about a 45-minute reading that I do for you, and I maybe even throw in a couple more decks where I pull a card or two out of. So if you'd like a personal annual reading, Scorpio, for your birthday, or anybody, just go ahead and send me a message. You can reach me on Facebook. You could also email me at peacefulwarriorpractice@gmail.com. I sometimes go a few days without checking my email. So the best way is honestly to get a hold of me on Facebook. And then also my Facebook page is the Akashic Queen. So go ahead and give that a like as well. Anyway, it's been a blessing and a pleasure, and I hope you have a lovely day.